Welcome back. It's another week and another week of the war and another mess and just continued mess after mess after mess. And America just is going deeper and deeper down a rabbit hole, and we have no leadership. We have no idea why we're in this war. We have no idea what the intentions of this war are. And earlier today, when I was watching TV, I saw Pete Popgun Hegseth, as a friend of mine calls him, on TV talking about that they're going to do another big bombing raid today. And he didn't tell where, of course, but still, this is just developing into just a nightmare. This is just going very wrong. And we're just falling apart in the world's eyes and losing credibility all over the place, and just making it so much worse for the next person that's going to take this office to come back and fix, no matter who they are, no matter what side they are on. I don't know what else to say, but this is not normal. There is no policy. We didn't go into this war with any idea of what we are going to do, what our goals were, nothing at all. Because of this, Trump is clearly in trouble. There's not even a question at this point. His numbers are horrible. People are angry. People don't like this war. They haven't been told why we're in this war, why they should support it. And when people aren't supported, when they aren't told and they aren't guided by their leader, i.e. The president, Trump, people get angry. And that's where we're at right now. And his position is weakening very quickly. This was an interesting YouGov report that asked voters overall are less likely to vote Republican after Trump's military strikes. And what this says here is all likely voters, 19% are much more likely to vote Republican, 12% somewhat more likely, 27% would not affect their vote one way or the other, 8% say somewhat less likely, and then you have the huge 35% saying much less likely. So between the 8% and the 35%, you're looking at 43% of the country saying that going into this war actually makes it less likely that they're going to vote Republican. So of course the Democrats at 7% are saying more likely that they'd vote. I might even fall in that category originally, not now, but originally. And 65%, of course, say no. And then you have independents, which is really where the action's at. 42%, so they're much less likely to vote Republican now that we attacked. And only 9 and 18, so 17% would vote, are more likely to vote. And then Republican, of course, is 39%. I would have actually expected that to be higher, to be honest with you. And then 18%. So that's 49. That's 57%. I still would have expected that to be even higher for the Republicans. And then you've got 38%, much less likely. So that's an interesting slide to show you, how this war is playing out in people's eyes. Then we've got something that I thought was just really interesting. The words that most Americans think apply to Trump. And in order here, the top 5 are the number one word that people describe Trump as is arrogant, opportunistic, reckless, dishonest, and corrupt. Those are not good words for a president. He is losing support all over the place from every side, including his own mega base. So it's interesting. His arrogance and trust issues, he just has lost trust entirely. And what does this mean? This really could hand the Democrats a huge win this fall now. I mean, we thought the Democrats were going to come in and win before and hopefully take the Senate and maybe take the Senate, but they were going to take the House. And here we are 3 weeks into a war. And unless something magical happens, it looks like the Democrats that this whole war thing could really just hand the Democrats a huge win. That's not necessarily a good thing, and I'm going to go into here why. It's not because the Democrats are strong. There's no major policy shift. There's no leadership strength. Nothing has really changed on the Democratic side that should get them elected. As a matter of fact, I am angry actually that would happen here, but it's because Republicans are making mistakes, unforced errors, messaging problems, and it feels reactive instead of planned, which is very true. I mean, that's what's going on here. This is usually how politics works, is one side screws up and so the other side benefits. And we see that often. We often see it in the midterms, not to this degree and not to what's happening right now, but we often see this. This isn't that unusual right now. The problem is that what the breadth of this is going to be much bigger than normal times. And I think it's going to have longer term implications that are not necessarily good. We've done so much global damage to U.S. credibility now, especially his threat with NATO and telling the NATO countries that they had to come in and help with the Straits of Hormuz. And now, finally, today, you had the UK come in and said they're going to send down an aircraft carrier. And Trump, when he was talking to the Japanese prime minister, said, it's too late. I don't really want his help anymore. So he's angry and he's going to use it. And he's going to use it to discredit NATO. Maybe not all of NATO, because some of the people have stepped up and said they would help fairly quickly. But he is going to use it to discredit NATO. And I'm not sure what's going to happen with Ukraine. Just mentioning Ukraine before I move on, the unfortunate winner in this whole thing, since Trump bombed Iran, is, of course, we took off the sanctions on Putin's oil, which is the worst thing that could have happened right now, because we had him right where we needed him, really against the wall financially. And their economy is just falling off a cliff. And they have inflation that's crazy, and their Federal Reserve is not doing what they need to do in terms of raising interest rates, because they can't. They already had them at 22%, and instead they're just printing money hand over fist to keep their economy going. They're out of money. So unfortunately, Putin has been the big winner of this. Interesting aside, though, Putin has not been seen publicly or even around the Kremlin privately since Khomeini was killed. So he's very scared of being shot or being killed himself. All right, moving on. This could collapse political support entirely for the Republicans, and the support can drop really fast. One wrong move changes everything. This is a really fragile situation for Trump, for his presidency, and for the Republicans altogether. And if he puts troops on the ground and it doesn't go well, and there's some type of mistake, the Republicans are going to pay for a very long time, and they're going to pay hard. And you're going to have a Democratic House and a Democratic Senate and all sorts of war coming, because the Democrats are not going to be happy, and they're not going to play nice with the Republicans after what they've pulled since Trump's back in office. The Democrats really could sweep. I've already talked about that, but really for the wrong reasons. And this is the biggest issue I wanted to talk about. There's no endorsement of ideas. It's just a rejection of current leadership. It's just saying we don't like Trump. We don't like what's going on with Republicans. We don't like what's going on in the world. We don't like the damage to the U.S. It's really reactionary. The problem is that the Democrats haven't done anything good to earn any of this. They're still in the far left. They're still doing all this trans nonsense. They're still doing the anti-Israel stuff, which is horrible. And they're not doing anything good, and they're not taking anything back to the center, which is where we need to go. And honestly, we need the center, whether it's a Republican or a Democrat in 28. So this is taking us really in the wrong direction. What this is going to do is this is going to move the party even further to left right now, because they're not learning the right lessons. And you look ahead to 2028, and what do you see? You start to see, because of this, probably talk of candidates instead of the centrists, like Newsom, who I don't think is so center. He's a bit left, although I don't think he calls himself a progressive. Maybe he does. I'm not sure. But then you have some other people that were reasonable candidates. But if this happens, I think all bets are off, and you're going to be looking to the far left, and you're going to see candidates such as AOC and that ilk running for president. That could be Ro Khanna, that could be AOC, it could be Jemiah. I forgot her name. Anyway, that whole ilk of the party with very progressive ideas. Medicare for all, which I'm not totally against for other reasons, but that's a different issue. But the trans stuff, much more towards socialism, especially if you get AOC type, because she really is a socialist and really does like the stuff that Mandami is doing. And this is really scary because this is not what America needs. Post-Trump, we need somebody that can take us back to the center and join the country and try to calm things down and make us a country of one again, instead of all this infighting and hating each other group by group. But if this pans out the way I think I see it right now, that's not going to happen. And we're just going to be at each other's throats still, and very divided, and things are not going to get solved. And I don't think economically things are going to get solved like they should. And I really think it's sad, because had this not happened and we had more of a centrist president, whether it was even a Republican or a Democrat, if you had somebody more in the center and started pulling this country together, I think that was the much better course that we need to go down in 2028. This is really dangerous. So right now, this is not what the country needs. It's really destabilizing, I think. And what can I tell you? I've already covered how America needs a center, and it's currently way underserved. And I don't see how things get healed until we get somebody in the center and we get some common sense talking that isn't going to demonize the other side. So right now, unfortunately, there's no one leading it. We have nobody on either side at this point that is strong enough that can take hold of this. And especially if this pans out and the Democrats think that they're doing such a wonderful job, and they fool themselves because they were handed this win because Trump fucked up, and and it's not because of their brilliance, but they're going to think it's their brilliance, and they're going to think, oh, everything we've been saying is so wonderful, and it's going to be a nightmare. Anyway, if you agree with me, comment down below. And if you disagree with me, comment down below. Unfortunately, I was a little bit more optimistic about the elections until this war happened, and it's panning out the way it is. I never thought we'd go to war without any type of plan. And this is just a disaster. So, and if we do boots on the ground, God help us. God help us. So anyway, comment down below. Please let me know. And also, please like and subscribe to the video. It's every time I get new subscribers, it's helping build the channel, and I really appreciate it. And I'll see you on the next one. Thank you.